And welcome. Yes, yes, it is. It's a special Christmas edition of 13 and 1. I'm your host, Francis Veltri, and we have a super exciting episode today. We have Lisa Zaney coming back, as I had asked when we did our Thanksgiving Italian special, for the Italian Christmas Eve special. It's actually Christmas Eve, really. Yeah, and so we're going to talk a little bit about Christmas Eve and some of the traditions and just some of the wackiness of growing up in an Italian family. Again, this is 13 and 1, the game show that thinks it's a talk show, but there's no prizes. Also, don't forget, if you like this episode, hit the like button. And if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe. So, without further ado, Lisa Zaney, could just introduce yourself quickly.
Hi, I'm Lisa Zaney.
Okay, that's good. No. Quickly. I don't know why I said quickly. Go ahead, take your time. I don't care. Take the whole time we have. Introduce yourself.
My main name is Zappia, which is very common in Italy.
Is it like Smith in Italian?
It truly is. It truly is. Although it does not translate to Smith. But you notice, like, there's so many versions of it too. Zappa, there's Zapata there. So I have a feeling the original Zappia got around a lot.
Sure. Sort of like the Captain Kirk of the 12th century.
Exactly.
I hear you. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today, now I know your family doesn't do this, but you're familiar with it, is the Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Yes. Yeah, my family, we're not fans of fish. So if you had to have it, you had to have it somewhere else.
Yeah, you gotta get out of here. That stuff smells.
That stuff smells, especially when it's cooking. So other neighbors and other friends of my family would make the fish and then deliver it to the house.
Okay, so first of all, what fish? Number one. Actually, we call it the Feast of the Seven Fishes,
right?
But it's also in Italian, and I'm going to butcher this, but I got to try.
Okay.
Festa dei Sette Pesci, or La Vigilia.
Okay.
and of course, there's 7 fish involved, and I'll go into a little bit about the traditional, what would be involved. But when you would go, Lisa, question number 1 is, what fish do you recall seeing on the 7 fish?
Well, there was always a perch of some sort.
Uh-huh.
There was always sardines.
Right.
Which was very gross. There was always anchovies.
Right.
And because we lived next to country people, there was always fried catfish.
Fried catfish?
Yes, which was not on there.
Yeah, that's probably not one of the 7 fish. Now, do you remember, did you try all of those, or did you just, I'm not eating
that? There were some things that we had to try. But yeah, a lot of times you could get away with just pretending. Just go...
Pretending?
Very not good, Dad. No, thank you. So you had to at least pretend, and most of the time they put a little bit of it in your mouth. It was yeah, not a joyful memory as a child.
Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia. Not a joyful memory.
Not a joyful memory.
Okay, I'm on the Wikipedia, so you know this is accurate.
Okay.
And they have listed the popular dishes. So, and I'm gonna go with the I'll just list some of these, and these are pretty much the fish that we would have.
Okay.
As I'm doing this.
All right.
Bacala, which is a salted cod. Okay. Now, it was usually just fried. It was not done with a...
Was it breaded and fried?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was breaded and fried.
All right.
So another one, so that's one. Number 2 would be fried smelts.
Oh, yeah, I remember smelts.
Yeah, so that's number 2. Number 3 would be some deep fried scallops. That's
Ooh,
number
I love
3.
scallops. We never had scallops as a child.
Okay. Number 4 would be shrimp.
Yes, shrimp. I still love me some shrimp.
Yeah. Number 5 would be like a baked cod. Probably would be whatever would be might be more of the local. Like here would be perch.
Yeah, perch or tilapia.
So what number are we on? 5. That was 5.
5. That was 5.
Okay. And then number 6 would be your linguine with anchovy sauce.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I
So
remember clams.
that was or some people would do with clams. It
Okay.
could be, but this would be an anchovy sauce. And the number 7, I left the best for the last.
Okay.
The number 7 would be a marinated eel.
Oh, I have never ever had eel.
It tastes like chicken.
Does it really? Everything people don't want to try, other people tell them it tastes like chicken.
It's chicken, yeah. So it tastes like
just eat chicken.
alligator. I've had alligator.
Oh, alligator is awesome. I love
Tastes
that.
like chicken to me.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I think it's very good, and I think I love deep fried, breaded alligator the best. But I'd have never tried that as a child.
Right? Sure.
Yeah.
But I remember. Okay, so one, it was marinated or prepared. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know if marinated is exactly how they prepared it, but it would be with onions in a pot. So,
like a stew then.
Kind of.
There was a lot of fish soup back then too.
But it wasn't a soup though. It was not.
I know, but that just meant it was low and it was simmered.
Yes.
Yeah, but there was a lot of fish stew, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always thought was weird because the fish gets so small, and the longer you cook it,
right,
you have to do the stew and then throw the fish in at the end, which never made any sense to me. So why not just put beef in there when you started cooking?
Well, I never understood the eel because it's really bony.
Okay, it's kind of like a snake.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of eating like around the bone part.
So they feed you with the bone as a child?
Well, it's marinated. I don't know.
Your family did not love you. They gave you bones as a child.
Well, yeah, and there are little bones in there too, so it was kind of dangerous food. But here's why
if you could survive Eel Day, you could survive the world, huh?
I hated. I hated, and it's not just because it tasted awful to a kid, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Tasted awful. But you know why I hated it? Because
eel
every
is like
year,
the Italian snake.
Right. Well, that's a whole other thing. That's another thing.
Deep fried Italian steak, eel.
No, I just thought you meant that was my nickname, the Italian snake.
No, I would not give you that nickname.
No, what I hated was helping my dad prepare it. I had to help.
Why? What'd you have to do?
Well, wait, I'll tell you. So, so every year, he would get these eel, okay? And they, so they'd be in this bucket, and they're probably like.
So you don't have to fish for them yourself? Yeah, they're
they could go. There was a fish store they could get them at.
Okay. I would like to imagine you fishing for eel yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know that's how you catch eel. I don't know how you catch. Yeah, what do you know? So.
If I was you, I'd tell the story that you caught it yourself.
Yeah, it was an electric eel too.
There you go. And you almost died.
I almost died. Yeah. So we would get these eel, and they'd be in a bucket. And the first thing you have to do is skin the eels. And you have to, essentially, you deglove them, where you pull the skin from the eel. So
does the eel shed like a snake does?
I don't know if it sheds like a snake does, but when you're about to prepare it, you pull it back. It
is mandatory shedding, huh?
Yeah. So when my dad literally would have a pair of pliers, and he would pull on both sides so the skin would peel back.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
And the smell was god awful. But you know what I had to do every year?
What?
I had to have the other pair of vice grips
Okay.
on the eel head. And I had to hold the eel head while my dad would deglove this, 2.5 foot long eel. I don't know if I'm exaggerating. What is that?
But was
I
it
don't know
like? Does it mean good luck if you got the skin off in one pull?
Well, I'll tell you
You'll
what.
be in
It
prosperous
was
year for the following year.
it was good luck for me because it meant we were over faster.
Okay.
And number two, hopefully the eel didn't have any anything in its stomach, because if you got to the stomach and somehow punctured it and poop came out, it was a mess.
Okay. Well, how do you de-poop a eel?
Just like you de-poop a shrimp,
Okay.
I don't recall that.
Okay.
I'm just going with that. So every year I would literally dread when I had to do this, I think we did it either Christmas Eve morning or no, because it had this took a long time to make. I don't know if we did it on the 23rd or the 24th, but it was really close to Christmas, and I almost hated Christmas because it meant I had to hold the damn eel head, and we did probably 5 eel. It wasn't just one.
Okay, so it wasn't, even if it was a super long one, it wasn't just one?
No, because my dad...
You couldn't just get a 10-foot eel?
My dad had 6 brothers, and my dad was the only one that knew how to make eel. So they all would come and get some. So he made it for everybody. Again, I think there's a reason why he's the only one who knew how to do it, because nobody else was stupid enough to smell up their house and deal with an eel head.
They said, Francis will do it. Let him hold the head.
Yeah, exactly. So there I would be, like this. I hated it every year. Every year.
You didn't have a brother that you could pass
Nope.
it on to?
Nope.
That's a shame.
I had to hold the eel head every year. Oh my god. Well, and this is not a Christmas Eve story, but I'm going to throw it in here anyway. We did a lot of that kind of make food from we didn't just buy frozen fish.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
One time my dad decided he wanted to have our own chicken, live chicken that we were going to cut its head off.
Okay.
So
where did you grow up? South?
Pittsburgh, yeah, on the bayou. So one time, we had never done this, but he wanted to try it. So he had the equipment, I guess, maybe, to cut a chicken's head off. He had, a chopping block and.
All you had to have was a cleaver.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you, you might need a strong hand too, because he went to cut the chicken's head off, and it didn't go all the way through.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. And
so the chicken is running around our basement where we were making this food, with its head like this. So this is normal. Okay, this is normal chicken. This is the chicken, and it's running off, blood spurting everywhere, all over the place. And I'm there. I'm always the helper. And it's I just remember this chicken running around our basement, going, oh, and just this blood everywhere. I don't even know if that was the sound, but that is the sound in my mind.
It sounded like a turkey to me.
Yeah, I know, didn't it? Maybe it was a turkey we were doing. No, it was a chicken for sure. But yeah, so then eventually it bled to death.
So you could go buy one, right?
Then it bled to death. We still ate it.
How long well, of course you did. You didn't waste food back then.
Yeah.
How long did it take to bleed to death?
I don't remember, but I mean, because you couldn't catch it until it was oh, and then finally we got it, and then
it's kind of like the Rocky scene, but a little more bloody.
Yeah, and he caught. Yeah, eventually. So anyway,
and Francis wasn't allowed out of the basement until he caught the chicken.
Yeah, with one arm too. Come on, Rock! Come on, Rock!
Your dad was trying to make you a contender.
Yeah, exactly.
And all you were
Southpaw Rock until you. Anyway, so there's that.
Yeah.
So you never had, unless you went to a family's house, to have the 7 fish. Now we would do the 7 fish, and I told you the preparation to me was
that's
the worst.
super religious, correct?
I don't know if super
Seven
religious.
Fishes was pretty religious.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's. I mean, there
there was some
very
reason for every fish, if I remember correctly.
You know what? I bet you there is. I bet you there is. Yeah. And most of them had to do with Jesus.
Well,
and probably Saint Joseph.
Everybody back then was a fisherman or a carpenter.
Right. But
I
not a lot of job.
Yeah, he dabbled in both. He had a hard time fishing because he kept walking on the water and he couldn't get deep enough to get to the fish.
Right.
He had to switch over to carpentry.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That bit him in the neck. Actually, in the hands and in the feet. That beat him in the hands.
You ever notice how few trees there are in Nazareth?
You know what? I have not ever personally been there. So no,
I'm just saying it's a desert.
It is a desert.
So, I mean, you picked one career.
But was it a desert back then?
Well, he should have gotten to cement.
He should have.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if Jesus was a cement worker?
Right. Maybe he was. Maybe.
I mean, a lot of Italians are into cement work.
Maybe that was where he developed into. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's probably still working the earth somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
He could probably walk on cement too.
Right. Wet cement.
Exactly.
Huh. So we would do this 7 fish thing, and very important. Now, when you would go over to family's house, question number 2. We're going slow here today because a lot of side stories here. When you would go over to visit your family, Italian family, and they would have this, would you ever have any sort of alcoholic beverages offered to you? It doesn't matter what age.
Well, the alcoholic, you had to have the wine shot. There were different times, so you always had to have the shot at every wedding. That had to be whiskey. It didn't matter what age. When you went through the line, you shook their hands, hugged them, kissed them, whatever, depending on how close you were to them. You took the shot. You grabbed a cigar, and then you grabbed a piece of cake.
Okay.
But you had to take the shot right then.
Mm-hmm.
You're a 3-year-old little girl. You're taking that shot.
Right, puts hair in your chest.
Yeah, that's gonna make you strong.
Right.
And then they laugh at you because you have to swallow it. And it was very, very funny reactions to watching people swallow whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Now, we used to have this thing called an anisetin whiskey, like a mix. Did you ever have that?
No.
Okay. Do you know? Have you ever had anisette?
No.
It's made from the not from anus. It's not made from anus.
Well, I
hope it's made from anise.
That's probably why we never had it.
Right. It's not made from anus. It's made from anise. And anise you will see in like pizzelles, a lot of the traditional pizzelles.
Okay.
For have the anise seed in it, and it's kind of like a licorice kind of tasting.
Okay. All right.
But it's really, but the alcohol is very, very strong. So you mix that with whiskey, and just generally speaking. So let's say my uncle comes over to pick up his marinated eel. All right. Okay. So he comes over. First thing you do is you get out a bunch of shot glasses and you pour out the anisette and whiskey for everybody. So it'd be like my uncle, my dad, and maybe if somebody came with them, they'd all do a shot. Okay. And so then they talk some more with their hands probably. And
a lot of hand talking.
A lot of hand talking. And then you'd have the middle shot of anisette and whiskey. And then before you left, you took another one for the road, essentially.
Well,
so
yeah.
It would be a 3-shot visit at the very least. and I remember, when I didn't really like it anyway, but I remember after I was 21, I had I could get a little loop on 3. Okay. And you would do this every visit, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You could end up, if you had 6 brothers and sisters like my dad did.
Yeah.
6 times 3 times by 4 hours, You do the math. I can't.
Yeah, but you do the years, you build the tolerance, you know. So,
Well,
so for every time your grandmother had a baby, your dad had to celebrate that. He built up his tolerance.
sure. So you'd have that. So you'd have the anisette and whiskey. Now when you as Italian, or the part of you, because you're half Italian like me.
Yep.
Did you? Number three is was alcohol a proper gift as a Christmas item?
Always,
Oh,
always, always. My dad would receive and pass out just the fifth of whiskey. Everything had to be whiskey, though.
sure. Everything was whiskey.
I believe it was Cutty Shark.
It could be whatever, like it would be
Yeah, I
various.
believe it was Cutty Shark.
Yeah,
And then
it was like trick or treat for adults.
yes, and then certain people would give brandy and get brandy. I don't know the difference or why. I just remember that. And then women always gave each other wine. Now, do you remember that Italian wine? It was a red wine, and it came, and the bottom of the bottle was like wicker, and it was.
Yes.
Do you remember what that was
Yes,
called?
that was it was a Chianti.
Yes.
It was a Chianti Classico.
Yes.
And
that was the big drink for all the women.
that was like your basic table wine.
Yes.
That wine manufacturer, whose name is escaping right now, still exists. You can still buy that wine. They don't put it in that bottle anymore.
Well, then
It's
there's
like
no
a $20 a bottle wine now. But it was like the cheap one. Everybody, we'd have like, it would be everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks so good. It looks so
Yeah.
good on the tables too. But even the kids were expected to drink some of that.
Sure.
With your dinner, or with your dessert, depending on how things were going. But did you guys play all these? Did you have massive amounts of cousins?
I did. But before we get to that, I want one other alcoholic item.
Oh, you do. What
Because we're not done with the alcohol just yet. Question number 4. Did you happen to have that marinated cherry and brandy thing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about, but
That would be another Christmas item.
I do not remember that. I seriously, the women were always drinking wine, and the men were always drinking scotch on the rocks.
Well, these were marinated cherries that would like get all plumped up, and then you would
Yeah, I know.
have, and they would be like, "Woo!"
No. I remember there being those crazy maraschino cherries, but that was as far as it went. And they would put that and those stupid pearl onions in drinks too.
That's as far as I go, and which I do like is the blue cheese olives with my martinis.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But those were New Year's Eve drinks. Those were not Christmas.
yeah, that's big. That's not Italian. I mean, martini is Italian, but I don't know if.
But they don't claim the drink.
But let me ask you. So you're saying the cousins? Absolutely. How? Okay, so Christmas Eve was for the girlfriends. Christmas Day was for the wives. No, that was a good note.
No. Christmas Eve was for the big family thing, where every single aunt and uncle, every single cousin had to be there. And if you weren't there, it was like, you better have a reason, you better have a note from the Pope, or you better be in the army. Those were the only 2 excuses.
Okay, and if you couldn't get a note from the Pope, would the local parish monsignor or father be as sufficient?
No, you had better show up then.
Okay, all right. So what would happen at this Christmas Eve get together?
Well, you would think it was a lot of fun, and it always started as fun, but then it always became extremely competitive.
Oh, how would it be competitive?
Well, we always had to go in order of birth to from youngest to oldest, or reverse depending on what the situation was. So the first thing we had a talent competition.
This is going somewhere.
Yes, we had a talent competition, and that was judged on cuteness. Okay. And so we started, and the babies always won, so they always had.
Sure. They have an unfair advantage.
Yes, they do. The oldest would always come in, and they would do whatever the singing, the dancing that they've been rehearsing since they were older.
Since maybe like 4 o'clock that afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, they
except for two cousins, they were twins, and they were always like one blew a bugle, and it actually sounded like a real song.
Wow.
I forget. I think the other one played drums, and I mean, but they were like, they had to really
the bugle and drum duet
by
Maria and Maria.
By Twin Zappias. And they were they were goofy and fun, but when that stuff came in, they were just like boom, because their dad was called Sarge, and Sarge didn't play. Okay.
So, why was he called Sarge? Was he in the military?
Because he was in the military.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe that's where he went. That's what his whatever it was. His, what do you call that?
MOS.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, so but then the rest of them would come down, and we didn't have a talented. But then I had a couple cousins who could sing, and Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin were like Connie Francis if you're a girl,
or Nancy Sinatra.
Or Nancy Sinatra. But so you would sing one of their songs, and you'd always do well. But then no matter how good you did, by the time you got to the baby, everybody voted for the baby.
Sure.
So it was
the baby did not have a talent section other than pooping, peeing, and looking cute. That was the whole talent.
Blowing kisses. You blow a kiss when you're finished with whatever you're doing, you win when you're the baby. Yeah, peekaboo wins. It doesn't matter. So the baby's always won. But then we went into the Christmas presents. Christmas presents.
I have a bad feeling on this one.
No, wait till the last one. The Christmas presents was when the hatred started.
Oh, okay.
So then you go in order from youngest
cutest to ugliest, or what? What do you go by here?
No, from youngest to oldest. But most of the time your parents would put your gift in like 2 months before Christmas so that other aunties and uncles could buy them, right?
Okay.
You didn't want it by the time you got to Christmas, or you already had it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to fake it. Because if you acted like you're ungrateful, you got your ass whooped right there in front of everybody. And Santa was a cousin who would knock you out too. So you ungrateful little bastard, and smack you if you didn't say, oh, thank you. So yeah, so it got a little bit competitive. But then now take us to the piñata.
Okay. You have a piñata?
We have a Christmas piñata. That was the most horrible thing in the world.
A Christmas piñata.
Everybody swinging with.
Never heard of this.
I swear to God, it was horrible. So here we're supposed to go from youngest to oldest because the youngest ones can't swing, right? Mm-hmm. They're not that strong. So you tell me who's younger. If you're born in the same year, March or November, who's younger?
March or November would be younger. Would be November.
Exactly. So here I am.
If it's the same year.
It's the same year. I'm born in November, and my cousin was born in March, and he was always bigger than me, and they would always let him hit the piñata before.
Oh, mother.
Yeah, exactly. Motherfuckers.
Yes.
Motherfuckers. I used to get so livid because I would never get to hit the piñata. Never got to hit the piñata.
Huh.
So then my younger brother started getting really good at baseball. And I was like, oh man, I will give you $20 if you break the piñata before he gets to. That's how competitive we got in my family. Huh. And I would get so upset, and they'd always go, oh, don't worry, you're a girl, you're not supposed to hit hard. I go, well, let me show you how hard I hit.
Now, that's interesting because so there's still more, right?
Oh,
so you got the Christmas piñata. So question number 6: what happened next?
Well, usually by that time I'm so mad I'm leaving the party.
Oh, okay.
Which was always somewhere where I didn't live, So, you know,
Sure. So you
you
gotta
know,
leave. You gotta.
yeah.
You're out.
So I got to leave, and then somebody'd have to come out and get me and drag me back in. You know
Mm-hmm,
what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And then you have to sit there because you're being misbehaving, and then they threaten you with Santa. But by that time, Santa has usually left, so we're okay. You know, but oh my, yeah, my cousins were so mean to each other.
Wow. We
They
see.
were
We didn't have a lot of visiting on Christmas Eve, except to pick up my uncles and my aunt to pick up the eel that my dad had made. The most of the visiting was
really.
done on Christmas Day. Now, and while I was doing this, I want to bring this up, an interesting movie that involves the seven fish meal.
Oh,
It stars Scott Baio, and the
really?
movie was actually directed and written by a friend of mine, Melissa
Really?
Martin. I did a show with.
Oh, okay.
I wrote she wrote this piece where I played a transvestite,
Okay.
and but the movie, it was originally called The Bread My Sweet,
Okay.
and it's now titled. They had a title change. If you can find it on IMDb, A Wedding for Bella,
Wedding.
starring Scott Baio, and this is it's from 2001.
Uh huh.
It takes place in Pittsburgh, and they do the seven fish.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, they have the seven fish involved, and so I just thought, I'd mention that one because the seven fish is involved, and two, Melissa Martin, the director and writer, is a friend of mine. We don't keep in touch or anything, but I did do a show where I had to play a transvestite. I wore a dress on stage,
Oh,
and yeah, so I really think she's a good writer too. She's very
yeah.
funny,
Yeah, I
and
would like to see that. Does it explain why the fishes?
I don't recall, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But check it out. It's in there.
Oh,
So, I would just
got
say,
it.
hey,
Melissa Martin,
yeah,
Wedding for Bella, 2001.
the Wedding for Bella, 2001.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's probably on Tubi. That's where you can find my movie that I wrote, Changing Seasons, starring Dan Cortez.
Ooh.
And if you remember who that is. And this is a shameless plug for me, because it's my movie. But it's yeah, I don't really talk about it very much. And Beverly Mahood, the Canadian
Uh-huh.
country western singing star.
So,
Um,
so what's the name of this movie?
my movie is called Changing Seasons. It's on
Change.
Tubi. You can find it on Tubi. I probably like 70% of the dialogue is what I wrote, and
Okay.
that's very embarrassing because then you watch somebody do it and you're like, oh, that's not what I meant at all. Oh, that's not good. And then there's one scene that I had nothing to do with where Beverly Mahood, who's very attractive, blonde, I think she's Irish of descent, and she walks through a room and there's all these contractors working on fixing her home. And they all kind of look around like they're supposed to be, and I didn't write this in the script, so I think they're just supposed to be like, "Whoa, she's hot," but they do this in a leery kind of way, like, and so it looks really creepy.
Does it?
Yeah. So, but anyway, so you know, so there you go. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up while we're talking about this because it did kind of jog my memory about
Yeah.
this. So, so Christmas Eve, we would do the seven fish. I actually like the spaghetti with anchovies. I liked everything we talked about. They're actually okay. I mean, I don't like look forward to any of it, but I like it enough.
Yeah.
But not the
The
eel.
only thing I've ever had anchovies on was a salad.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and
And
that's the thing. What it is it's like this. It's like it's a very, I don't know what the right word is. The sauce is very it's like an olive oil based sauce.
oh, okay.
So it's on the way they made it. And so, you put a lot of grated cheese on it. Tastes really good, actually, because of the
I think
salt
if
from the
you put enough
anchovies.
grated cheese on anything, it'll
Yeah.
taste.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah.
Olive oil based grated cheese. Yeah, you're solid.
Yeah. So then at that point, now I don't know, this is maybe where you kind of come, we kind of, because then you have to stay up for the Pope, who was on TV at Well, Central Time would be 11, but it was midnight mass.
Okay.
And so we would, because my parents would either go to church that evening for midnight mass,
Oh, really?
or they would, well, and me, we would all go together.
Yeah.
We weren't like a bunch of bums straggling out of the place. A couple of hobos. No, another Goodfellow reference. So we would go to midnight mass, or if we didn't, we would stay up and wait for the Pope. And of course, it was in Italian, and they would have the same guy do this. He would. I wouldn't say it was. He wouldn't do an audio interpretation. He would do more of an audio. This is what's going on. The Pope is now giving a benediction
Like the
to
golf,
all of the
golf
people
talker,
around
like
the
the
world.
golf talker,
What's that?
like the golf talker. People who talk during the golf.
Right. The Pope and the Pontiff and the Cardinals are together here making a prayer for the goodness of the world. And
My
so-
aunt dated the Pope.
What's that?
My aunt dated the Pope.
Your aunt dated the Pope?
Yep.
Tell me about this. That's question number 7. What the heck's going on with your aunt?
My mom and her. Well, my mom and my dad. They always wanted to go with their siblings to Italy, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, my mom is not Italian, but my mom and my aunt were raised very Catholic. So after my dad passed away, my mom and her sister went to Italy for real, and they stayed in the convents, which I didn't know you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you could afford to go to see the Pope, to
Ah,
be blessed by the Pope.
right.
So my aunt was just like super super excited. We used to always tease her that she was dating priests.
Mhm.
Because she actually got divorced, which she was ashamed of, because it was not something you did back then, you know what I mean? But she went to, and she got like right next to the Pope, and his arm, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't touching her, but it looks like he has his arm around her in a couple of the pictures.
Oh my God! So which Pope was this?
Oh, I don't even remember. This is back in 1999.
Okay, so this is probably Pope John Paul II, probably.
So yeah, but it does. So she has some pictures, and it looks like he has his arm around her. And so I told everybody that my aunt is dating the Pope now. They got a
Wow, that's pretty big news.
International romance going on.
Wow, I mean, yeah, that's not that popes haven't had girlfriends, but
Well, hey, it could happen.
could happen.
But she's a good woman. He could be attracted to her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if you know this, and I'll use this as your question to me. My dad was almost a Catholic priest.
And you told me that last time. That shocks me.
Yes.
You know why it shocks me? Because he produced you.
Yeah, I know. And he was always the worst at going to church, too. So I forgot that I told you that already. But yeah,
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
It makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
You know, you are the wild side that your father tried to keep hidden.
Right, exactly. Yes, but no, my mother, I think always, I don't know if she felt guilty, but she always wanted me to be a Catholic priest then.
Why?
To make up for the fact that my father wasn't.
Well, then she should have had more children.
Well, I think they tried. My dad tried with many women. And
You're such a liar.
so, but my mom, she really wanted, she literally had told me several times, her desire, because which I guess what you do is when your son becomes a Catholic priest, they get like jewels from their mother, because they're not going to use them for the
Right.
daughter-in-law, that they would melt down the engagement ring or the gold in the ring and put it in the chalice, the priest's chalice.
Okay.
So that was my mother was so looking forward to that. That's what she wanted.
Okay. Instead of grandchildren?
Yeah, that's why she had my sister. My sister had 5 kids. She was good.
She was good. She was a good Catholic girl.
Yeah, so then I played a priest in Tony and Tina's wedding.
Right.
Mother was a little senile. So it was like her her fantasy came true.
Wow.
Except
Well,
I got really drunk every night for 200
yeah.
plus shows, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. At least you
Whatever.
made your mother happy for
Yeah.
sure.
And I heard a lot of confessions too.
People just see the collar and they start confessing.
Well, they see the alcohol and they start confessing.
Okay.
And the other thing I learned by doing Tony and Tina's wedding, of course I was a lot cuter and younger then, there are a lot of gay men with a priest fantasy.
Really?
I think. Because nobody ever hit on me except in that scenario ever. And nobody, and when I did that show, there was a lot of like fooling around going on with the cast members and each other, and maybe even with random people. Nothing like that ever happened, except I would have the random male homosexual who would try to hit on me because it was like a turn on. It was like a furry thing.
I've never heard that, to be
No,
honest.
I'm just saying. I didn't know either.
That's information I do not think the public needs to know.
Well, I'm just saying that's my experience. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the sad thing is you're probably not. But you know what? Even priests need love.
Right. So you wouldn't stay up, wouldn't do midnight mass. Would you go to church the next day?
We usually went to church the following day.
So on Christmas Day.
Unless it was a Saturday. If Christmas was a Saturday, then we do the early Saturday.
Try to do both.
No, if we did the Saturday, that was good enough.
Right. And then you're done. You got one church service, two covers two.
Yeah.
Cover two.
Yeah. The midnight thing we didn't do a lot when we were little because there were so many of us. It's
right.
Like, and it was.
There's the Zappies again. Oh, for crying out loud.
We take a whole aisle up,
Oh my God, I'm sure. And then there's always that one Zappy that's in the bathroom the whole time. And then that other Zappy who's, she's up to no good.
She's up
with the Donatelli boy.
No. There's one up in the choir thing shooting spitballs.
Yeah. That's what she said she was doing.
No,
that's right.
No, ours were not. No, we were too busy being afraid of because we went to the Catholic school where we went to church.
Uh-huh.
So
how long did you go to Catholic school? Question number.
Well, 12 years.
What?
12 years.
Oh my gosh.
The only year I enjoyed school was kindergarten.
Is that because that's when you learn why did you like only kindergarten? Was that not Catholic?
It was public school. And people liked me. Since I went to Catholic school, I learned nobody likes anybody. The nuns don't like you. Right. The priests don't like you. And then you're not supposed to like the people in your classroom either. That first year, that I learned a lot about why. Yeah, we had a kid that was rather special.
Uh-huh.
And he would get up all the time and talk. Uh-huh. And so our nun would take our jump ropes and tie him to his seat.
Okay. That sounds like the right. I think that's in the Bible, or maybe a catechism. The Baltimore Catechism. I think that's in there.
So by the end of first grade, nobody would bring their jump ropes anymore.
Right.
And then we got in trouble for not bringing our jump ropes. And then.
And then you have the nun going, "What do you want me to do? Huh? I gotta keep it a kid. You gotta sit down.
Sit down, you stupido."
Aspetto.
Slap him upside the head.
Carne menute.
There was a lot of beating in Catholic school.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. I went to Catholic school 12 years myself.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, I did not.
Well, let me just tell you this. My daughter went to public school, except when her daycare before she went to her daycare before she went to school, or
right,
whatever it's called,
the preschool,
whatever, was actually run by nuns.
Yeah.
Okay, what they did is they figured a better way to make money because Catholics like to make money like off
Oh
of
yeah.
bingo and things.
Oh yeah.
Um, the what they did is they created this preschool that would help fund the nursing home that would also take in other people, but it had the nuns would go to this nursing home for free, and that's how they paid their costs.
Yeah.
So sometimes the retired nuns would help out at this preschool. So one time, my daughter was like 2 or 3, and I'm going to pick her up, and I'm walking down the hall, and there's this nun, obviously nun. You can tell a nun if you've gone to Catholic school. You know what a nun looks like.
Even when they don't wear their habits.
Right. Oh, they don't. Yeah, you can tell they wear the same sweater skirt thing. It's the same outfit.
The shoes.
In the shoes, there's those little orthopedic shoes.
Slip-ons.
No. Yeah, absolutely. And they're not nude pantyhose. They're that tan type of shade.
Yeah. So you can't see their skin. So
right. So no sun is getting in that body ever. So anyway.
Yep.
So I'm walking down the hall, and all of a sudden, I heard this nun yell like a nun does. You know how they yell?
Yes, unfortunately, yes, I do.
It was like, Eddie, if you do that again, I am going to, is that what you would do? And just the way she said it, and it was so reminiscent of my entire grade school, high school upbringing. I felt a little warmth inside, like, yeah, I'm glad my daughter goes here. I was like, I felt good. It felt good to hear that berating and belittling that only a nun can do, like you're gonna burn in hell because you were not in line correctly. That sort of yell.
God sees what you're doing,
and he is not happy. Yeah, they don't even like try to leave it to any interpretation. He is not happy. I have given my life to God, so he does what I say. Watching you. So, yeah. But I actually felt good. That made me feel good.
There was only one nun that I liked.
Uh-huh.
She was my 3rd grade nun, and she I don't think she knew anything to teach us.
Yeah.
So she would get out the colored chalk, and we would draw pictures on the board all day.
Oh, nice. Good.
But she taught me how to shade in chalk.
I thought you said she taught you how to shave.
Yeah, and she probably could do that too. But she taught me how to shade. She was an artist, and she just did these amazing chalk, like the Immaculate Conception, which was the name of the grade school I went to, was Immaculate Conception.
So she was doing like
these.
The Last Supper by Michelangelo.
There was always something, and there was always something that I got to draw. Like I got to draw the grapes on the table at the Last Supper. Just little super tiny things. But she would do the whole chalkboard would be some mosaic from the Bible. And most of them were the cheery ones, not the terrible ones. And then she'd get called out to the hallway and come in and erase the whole thing.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Question number 11. Did you have a copy of The Last Supper in your home in your kitchen?
In my kitchen, no, but it was in my grandmother, the Croatian one's kitchen.
Really?
Yeah. Because my grandmother, the Italian one, turned her back on the church.
What happened there? Is there a story there? Number 12.
Yeah, her eldest daughter died of like colon cancer.
Okay.
And back then they did nothing for you.
What are you going to do for that?
Yeah. And she would.
It had been all that salami she was eating.
She prayed to God for take her quickly, but it was very slow and agonizing. and it destroyed her faith in God. Then from then on, all we had were pictures of JFK.
Or pictures of Obi-Wan Kenobi who looks like Jesus.
Nope, it was JFK or nothing because they didn't really put up. They had them, but they didn't really put up like portraits of any of the kids or grandkids because she couldn't stand the pictures of her own daughter.
Sure.
So
Sure.
she wouldn't put up any family pictures after that. So
Yeah, yeah.
the only picture that was up was JFK.
Okay.
But not at my house. We had Mona Lisa
Ah.
because that's who I was named after.
Oh, really? The Mona Lisa?
The Mona Lisa is who I was named after. Thank
Wow.
God I wasn't Mona.
Right.
'Cause he
That would
wanted,
be a difficult high school name.
yeah, he wanted it to be Mona, and my mom said nope, it has to be Lisa or nothing. So,
Well, that's like when we were trying to come up with my daughter's name.
mhm.
We were, and these are not her names that we used. It was either Marin or Fiona, and that's just when Shrek had come out. And I was
Oh,
like, I have a
um,
feeling
yeah,
this Fiona may last a little longer.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
said we should hold off on the Fiona, which I really like as a name, but
It is a good
unfortunately,
name.
since it's such a unique name, I think especially Americans are going to only associate it with Shrek and it's Shrek's
Yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah. What nationality is your wife?
She's a mix: Irish, English,
Okay.
German, Scandinavian. I think
But
her
Fiona could have
family,
worked well
somebody in
with
her
it.
family did that 23andMe,
Uh-huh.
and they thought they were German, but now they might be Scandinavian, which is probably really the same difference, really.
Yeah.
Who cares anymore? I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
don't,
Anymore, everybody's a mix. You
we're
don't have,
all a mix.
yeah, you don't have any, even the people who think they're just one nationality, if they did it, would find out they're probably three or four.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So final question then.
Uh-oh.
What time would you get to play with your Christmas presents on Christmas Day?
I would say because Christmas Day you got to open them like New Year's Eve was you got to open that one present
Oh,
from
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, one present.
Sure,
One that
absolutely.
you
That's
got from that set. That was
that's
the only
correct.
present you got to open. But you didn't open it because then things would disappear. Like your cousins would take the little
Oh yeah,
like G.I. Joe had a walkie-talkie.
yeah,
If my brother would open that, my cousin would have took the
yeah.
walkie-talkie.
Or Lego set. There'd be Lego.
Right. So you didn't open it there. So you kept it in the box. That way it
Right.
never got. So
Yeah,
you
I'll
open,
open that later.
yeah, yeah.
And
Everybody
they're
learned
all like, "Oh, look at him! He's just so smart. Doesn't want to lose his toys. He wants to wait. He's a smart boy."
exactly.
And
And
then
then,
you're like, "I want to open that so bad, but those effers are gonna steal that
and then so Christmas Eve we'd open all of our presents from Santa.
on Christmas Eve."
I mean Christmas morning, but
Uh,
we didn't get to play with them till after we ate.
okay,
So we
okay.
had to eat because
Breakfast, you mean?
yeah, like a fancy breakfast though.
Like a fancy breakfast?
Yeah.
Like, was it like a cinnamon rolly kind of breakfast, or we're talking like
No,
egg,
no, no.
bacon,
Eggs, bacon, sausage, every kind of meat.
sausage?
Yeah, biscuits, which I
Mm-hmm.
hate biscuits, toast, so everything. Just a
Mm-hmm.
big, 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 big pile of food.
Mm-hmm.
Which the girls then, as soon as you were finished opening the present, you had to go in and start helping cook.
See, when I was a kid, so we got up, we got to look at get our open our gifts on Christmas morning, whatever. Now, our Santa didn't wrap everything. Some of it was just
Oh,
put
really?
out there.
Okay. If it was big like a bike, it got put out there for us.
Well, it didn't matter. My Santa didn't wrap anything. I don't know why. I think because I'm at the end of the alphabet being a V, that
Yeah.
he probably got tired.
Well, I'm gonna say is a Z's got ours wrapped.
Okay, maybe, but you were not a Z then. Oh, you were a
Yes,
Z.
I was.
Yeah.
I'm not a Z now. I was a Z then. Now I'm an
Okay, I
F.
don't have an excuse then. I have no idea why Santa didn't wrap my stuff. All
Well,
right.
no,
Okay.
what I'm gonna say is it was a victory for you. You didn't have to open it. That's why you're a
Well, you knew as soon as you go down, you know what you're getting. Okay. Not a lot of like, oh, okay. So you know what you're getting. But anyway, but here's the thing. We then, as soon as we got up, maybe had like a light breakfast of some sort, and then we had to go visit the families.
Okay.
So we spent the rest of that morning visiting my dad's family. And then you would think, because you get back, and so again, they're all drinking, that 3 shot per visit thing. You get home like about 1 or 2, okay? Have a quick lunch, and then, because the way they worked it out is because they all try to hit the same place at the same time. So it was always people in there. Then so then people would come over to our house. So you couldn't start playing with your toys because you had that whole issue of missing items, things like that, until like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening.
Wow, no, that New Year's or Christmas Eve was it for the family. Christmas Day was when and we were usually pushed out of the room by that time. That was when their friends would come over Christmas Day. Sometimes my aunts and uncles would come they were friendlier, you know what I mean? If they didn't have kids, that kind of stuff. Most of the time it was their friends that would come during the Christmas Day. And that's when they exchanged the boxes of whiskey and shit.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, great. Then you'd have like basically your dad would have like 2 cases of whiskey. He bought 1 case, would end up with 2.
Right.
1 case to give, 2 back. It's a good.
Yeah, and my mom used to tell him all the time, "You're not going to drink that much whiskey. Just pass back." He goes, "You can't do that."
No,
that was like
smart.
It was an insult.
Yeah,
but then he'd have a whiskey for the rest of the year.
Sure.
Sure. So.
And then the other thing is they would make a whiskey drink.
There was something that they used to drink when we were older. That was something with the coffee, but I'm trying to remember if it was whiskey or cognac.
Okay. I remember we did it with whiskey, but I think there might be a version with cognac. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the 13 questions.
Hey.
Lisa, you did it. Did it again. You're like old pro at this now. So Lisa, you can ask me a question or you can use the question I already designated. That's because we've been going on very long, but I'd be happy to answer one question.
My question is, and it's like, how much of the Italian traditions do you get to your daughters?
0. So here's the thing. That's a good question, by the way. On Christmas Eve, we're not going to do the 7 fish. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And especially because my wife won't eat it because more than half is deep fried.
Okay.
And I don't know how to do the anchovy spaghetti.
Yeah.
But so nobody's gonna eat it other than me. So we're not gonna do that. She's not. My daughter doesn't like fish. We're not gonna do that. So we don't do any of that. What we do is pretty much have our own little tradition, so we're just gonna do that. It's funny because usually, a lot of people do like a ham or a turkey on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
We're not even doing that. We're gonna make spaghetti and meatballs from scratch.
Oh, sweet.
So
you're gonna make your own noodles? You're gonna make your own?
No, we're not gonna make our own noodles though. That's the one thing. Everything else though.
Yeah, my Italian side, they used to make their own sausage, their own meatballs, and their own noodles for everything.
Yeah, and my dad used to make. We used to make our sausage too. So we used to have a sausage machine, like where you put the casing.
Yep.
The meat would be pumped into the casing.
Grind it.
Yep, did all that, but don't do any of that now. So my dad, who is with my sister in Florida, they're going to do all of that 7 fish thing.
Okay.
But I don't do that. It's a lot of work, and
it is.
I'm the only one that would eat it. And like I said, it's not. I mean, I like it, but I'm not going to go crazy. Now, let's say I went out to eat on Christmas Eve, let's say this isn't the COVID world, or let's say we're just going out on Christmas Eve, and they had an Italian 7 meal, I would eat that for sure.
Oh, would you? Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, because it's just the preparation. It's a lot of work. And if somebody else would do it, sure, I'll eat it. But, I'm not, it's all right. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, I do. I wish I would, but I don't. But my daughter is going to make some focaccia bread. So
nice.
There you go.
Make your own traditions now, right?
Right, exactly. So it's all a hybrid. Everybody just does a hybrid of what they remember, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, definitely.
Nobody is like. I mean, if we did, we'd be going to. Well, and plus this is the weird year of the COVID, so
Yeah,
what are you gonna?
Not
There's no
yet.
tradition this year.
Exactly.
Other than maybe the same tradition, the Italian tradition of whenever the Black Plague was going on in 1505 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well,
All right.
you know what? We're done. You made it. You did it
Yeah.
again. You are a third. This is your third time on the show.
Yeah.
You know, unbelievable. Very popular. You know, a lot of calls for you, Lisa. So, just you're like the Joan Rivers of my show.
Oh, I love it. I will be.
You are the super special, guest that people keep asking, hey, can she come back soon? So, thank you again, also known as Mrs. Claus.
And
So,
don't tell everybody.
shh. So, well, Merry Christmas, and we will see you sometime in the new year. This is Francis Veltri. You've been watching 13 and 1 with me and Lisa Zaney, formerly Lisa Zappia. And I'm trying to turn this down a little bit. And thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends. Outro and intro music by Charlie Fleming. Remember, come back. We have a new show every Sunday, hopefully, if I get to it. And, hopefully you enjoy this. Give me a comment. Tell me what you like and don't like. Again, this is Francis Veltri. You've been watching 1301 with my special guest, a Christmas special with Lisa Zappia.
Bye-bye.